Hi everyone! Thank you for joining me online again. We are doing this live. Yesterday, I shared with you how my journey has been in MacPherson, what I have observed, what I have done in Parliament as well as in MacPherson. I've also shared with you our manifesto slogan as well as my three core values. But today, I thought I would do something different. I have invited a few of my very lovely residents to join me online to have a little chat on something that is close to our hearts. And I thought that it would be nice for all of you to also tune in and share and also join in and hear what they have to say. So it's not just from me, but what they have to say on issues that are close to our hearts. And I thought that if you have anything that you have in mind, maybe you can think about it, and then later on, if time allows, maybe you can also ask them a question or two, and perhaps they will be able to address them for you as well. So now, without further ado, let me just invite or do a brief introduction of my residents today. You might be wondering by now, who are these? What is the topic that we'll be sharing about today? So you see the lovely faces. Today, I've invited a few senior residents, and we'll be talking about issues concerning our seniors, our elderly. So let me just go one by one. I think from the clockwise. To me, it's clockwise. So first of all is Mr. Lim Aitgi. Mr. Lim is 60 years old. You see, he's waving already. Yeah. So Mr. Lim is 60 years old. He's now working from home, and he used to take care of his elderly mother, brings her to the daycare before her health deteriorated, and I think we lost her recently. But Mr. Lim has always been very active, and so he has been talking to us and going around in the community. So today we have Mr. Lim with us online. Thank you, Mr. Lim. And then next, I would like to introduce to you Madam Dolly Key. Madam Dolly is 67 years old. She's living alone, and she has been she before this she was working in the hotel line when she was younger, and now she's working part time to fill up her time. Next, I have Aguan. Okay, I go do Aguan first, and then I'll do. Yeah, this is Mr. Teo Ching Wan, but we always call him affectionately as Aguan. Aguan, I know him for so long also. He's now in his 64 years old. Some of you may find him familiar because he has a coffee stall at the 89 Circuit Road Market. So if y'all go there, of course, can go and lim his kopi. Yeah, so Aguan has been in the community for a long time, and he has been, there, as with hawkers, always wake up very early, and then we'll start getting ready at about 4 a.m. so that he can catch the morning crowd. And I know that Aguan is very hardworking. Sometimes in the afternoon, 3 plus, 4 plus, I still see him there. So it's a very long hour thing. So I know him for so long, and I know that actually he has always been very interested to learn something new. Later we will hear from him what is that something new that he would like to learn about. And then last but not least, our most senior resident here in this chat room, we have Uncle Chow Yong Fat. Uncle Chow. Uncle Chow is 81 years old. He's staying with his missus, and I know Mrs. Chow is they're very cute as a couple. Uncle Chow calls her the Wenfang, the Fan Wong of his life, and so they are staying together. I think the children are overseas, and so Uncle Chow believes in having a disciplined lifestyle and routine, and that in good health. And so now actually he's living quite a colorful life, I must say, but I'll also get him to share more later. So here we are, the few of us here in this chat room. Actually, all our seniors are, joining us online in the comfort of their own homes. And I thought this is something pretty awesome because we used to think that maybe seniors will find it quite a struggle to go online. Of course, it is a process. We still have some seniors whom we are still reaching out, but as of now, having them online joining me, I think it's something that is to be excited over. So today, I would like to, have a chit chat with our residents on issues concerning our seniors. And I thought it would. I mean, how much better than it can get, other than using getting our seniors to come and join us, in this chat. So without further ado, let me just get them started, let them share. Today I'll be more of a facilitator role, and so you can hear from them what they have to say. And I should just add that with these sessions, with these chit chat. Eventually, I will also share more about what we do or want to do in MacPherson in the following days in my campaign. But for now, let's just hear from my very lovely residents. Okay, so maybe I'll just ask Auntie Dolly. Auntie Dolly, hello. I think you're not unmuted yet, so maybe need to unmute. Okay, Auntie Dolly, hello, hi, how
Hello,
are you?
hi, thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, Auntie Dolly, maybe you would like to just say a little bit about yourself, and then maybe how how was it like when you were younger? Because I understand that you were working and now you are just also doing some part-time work. Maybe you can share a little bit more with us. What's on top of your mind? What concerns you? What are you happy with, or what issue may be or that may be bothering you even? Maybe you can share a little bit with us.
Okay. Okay, when I young, in 1972, I will join Hotel Line. By the time I join Hotel Line, there is already CPF. It's already confirmed got CPF. So I was continue doing my work then, but I still think that CPF have to deduct so much money because my family is poor, so we want to earn more money to give family more. See, so but they deduct CPF, then I will feel like very sad like that. Say, "Aya, CPF cut so much like that." Then I say, "Aya, can't be helped lah. Since government already set up the rule or regulation, we still have to face it lah." So while I still continue was doing lah. Do until 1972, I joined Hotel Line. Then until 33 years, I worked 33 years. Then I left Hotel Line. Then by the time I work Hotel Line, I leave 1982. I apply housing board. You see, but I apply housing board once down payment 14,000 first payment. So I say, where I can get this type of money so big lump sum. So they say you can use your CPF. So I go to check my CPF. I got a lot of CPF. Then they say okay, since I buy the housing board 14,000 first payment because my sister brother all already grown now. Because we stay in one of the room, it's not enough to stay. Because we got brother sister with me, all is 10 brother sister 10. So we got only stay one house only, not enough to stay. See, so no choice. My mother say, since you work, you try see whether you got CPF or not. You got apply housing board. So lucky I got apply housing board. Once the first payment 14,000, lucky I got the CPF that lump sum there. So lucky I can get the housing board. After 3 years ago, I get a housing board PP road. Then I want to pay out the 67,000 over. So I say, so much money. Then I don't know what to do because I never checked the CPF. Then the lady who checked for me say your CPF is not to pay. So I say okay. So I take 4-room flat with my parents. They all stay in PP Road until now. I'm staying PP Road is around 35 years already. So lucky I got the CPF. If I don't have CPF, I think I got no house to stay. With my family, they all have to rent the house. Also, how many houses want to rent? Because your brother sister is so young, all schooling, all that. So I can't be helped. So I had to take it. So I stay with my parents and my brother sister. After that, my brother, sister all married already. My parents passed away already, so I will be alone. Lucky I single, I can still can get a house. If not, I really sleep on the roadside. Then, so lucky I still got a CPF. Then I think back, I got retirement pay some more. Then I retired, retirement. So now I'm jobless, not jobless lah, do some part time lah to cover my expenses for the monthly lah. At least still I can draw CPF from the retirement CPF of few hundred. Then I work 200 part time lah to join to spend my monthly pay lah, expenses lah. Then suddenly I think back, perfect, like this CPF is very good, useful. So after that, I got the diabetes, so I need to see doctor. So after that, I see doctor, they want to 6 months blood test, I have to test everything, so have to come up few $100. Then the doctor say, you got Medisave. So I say, Medisave can deduct, She say can. So I see doctor, I use my Medisave. So I no need to come out so much money. If not, I have not enough to spend. Lucky I got a CPF to cover me for my life, you see. So after that, this CPF, I think back is really very useful. Then my brother tell me, say, Sister, the CPF very good, can use by the child for schooling some more. I say, yeah, me. He say, yeah, I support my daughter schooling fees in use my CPF. So I said, good ma. So you have to work more, work harder, can get more CPF.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing, Auntie Dolly. I can tell that actually, from young till now, it hasn't been an easy journey for you. You work really very hard, very long hours, and you saved up bit by bit. And from what I hear from you is that actually, with the CPF, because of the contributions from yourself and your employers, the money that you managed to save in your own CPF, you could use it to buy your own house, your own asset. And then when you're in your older age, you also have a certain cash flow to support you, so that there's
Yes.
some certainty as well. So okay, I hear that, and well, I'm glad to hear that, because it also means that whatever you have saved is put to good use and is for you, and that now that in your silver years, there is something that can it's like your safety net for you to fall back on. Yeah. So thank you, Auntie Dolly, for sharing. I think this is something important to note. Also, because when we talk about seniors, we want to make sure that our seniors' basic needs, their retirement adequacy, are being looked into. Of course, in terms of individuals, everyone's story or circumstances may differ, and some may have been able to save a little bit more, some maybe a little bit less. But how do we ensure and take care of our seniors' basic needs, especially in their older years, especially when they've retired? And I think in Chinese, called 衣食住行, how to make sure that they are adequately clothed, adequately fed, that means the nutritional well-being, their overall basic well-being, in terms of the shelter, having a home to go back to, a place where they can rest, and also as they move around, so that they can keep active. So I think CPF, from what Auntie Dolly has shared, is a very major piece that we have in Singapore to help to provide some form of safeguard for our seniors, especially for our Singaporeans, but of course, especially for our seniors in the older years. But as I mean, through your example, we can also see that actually Singaporeans can also use CPF to buy a very major piece of asset, and that's HDB. Which, Auntie Dolly, you have been staying here for quite some time, right?
5 years.
Yeah, been a while. I remember you. Yeah. So I think this is very interesting, and I know Mr. Lim, you are also still working at this moment, right? And then working from home. So Uncle Mr. Lim, would you like to also share some of your thoughts? I mean, just moving on so that everyone has a
Sure.
chance to also share
Sure.
something. Mr. Lim.
Well, first of all, I'd like to tag on to what Dolly was mentioning. My story is similar and yet different. In my case, I'm married, and then the first when we got married, the first HDB that we bought, it was a joint thing when my wife and I, both of us, combined our savings in the CPF to do the down payment as well as the monthly installment. And it just so happened that the amount coming in is slightly more than the amount going out, so we were able to accumulate. And so the final payment, we just wipe it out and take the surplus and then pay up in full and then get to enjoy the current flat that we have, and no worries after that. Um, so so that's on the individual basis. I like to chat a little bit about the bigger scope basis, where recently I was so surprised by the budgets, plural budgets that were announced. I mean, it's not just one but four, and we are talking about the four budgets, and uh, you know, the question is, is it the best way of doing things? And in anything, you can always do better. But I want to acknowledge that, a person here will want to have more for this. And then a person over there would say that he wished for more for that. But I like to give credit where credit is due. And when I look at the budgets and I look at the scope, I look at two things. One is the scope. And when I looked at that is about supporting families, seniors, workers, and job seekers, and self-employed. I said, wow, it's broad enough, it's comprehensive enough. And the other part is about the depth of it. And the question here is, has enough been done? And we know that it can never be enough. So what do you do with limited resources and you're looking at a wide scope? And so I asked the question, is it adequate? Is it adequately addressed? And I have to say it's pretty good, and of course you can tweak and you can make it better, but when it's time to roll out, and so overall I see that I'm grateful for what finance minister, who is also our deputy prime minister, what he initiated, and so I'm grateful. Now, one example is the way it's done. One example is the supporting of workers, and I appreciate that the job support scheme. It is, yes, to help workers, but instead of direct cash and money to the workers, the way it's done is that it's to help companies keep Singaporean workers. So companies like the one that I work for, so are empowered in large and small ways to keep fellow Singaporeans at work. So leaders, they need to be resourced. My work involves coaching leaders, and most leaders look into themselves for the resolve, for the strength of character to do what it needs to be done. But sometimes leaders need a little external help. You know, um, they need to be empowered in large and small ways uh, to a little nudge from the outside. And this is what the budget has come in to do, and I'm grateful.
Thank you, Mr. Lim. Thank you for sharing. I actually, there was one point that you made that triggered a thought, which is the JSS, the Job Support Scheme, and how it
Yes.
has helped to keep workers. And in fact, it's not just workers, but also older workers. And I thought this is an interesting point that maybe we can
Sure.
go deeper in later. But thank you for sharing, Mr. Lim. I think this is useful. Interesting when we talk about supporting our elders as they grow in vintage. And so maybe we will hold that thought, and then let me just go to Aguan first, and then let Aguan share with our friends online. Aguan speaks Mandarin more. He's more comfortable in Mandarin, so I'm going to switch to Mandarin for the time. But let me do bilingual a little bit so that people understand where I'm coming from. So so Aguan actually is a very familiar face, as I've mentioned earlier, and because he has been around in the market for a long time. Actually, Aguan, you have met many seniors, over the years, and you've gotten to know them even very personally. So maybe Aguan, you can also share with us what are some of the observations that you have made. What are some of your thoughts about what seniors need or feel are important to them? 阿关，我刚才用英语问你，我想你大概可能明白我的意思，你可以用华语来回答，然后呢，我就简单的做一个翻译，好吗？就是你在这个咖啡店这边，在社区里面看了那么多人，那你对于他们，你看到那么多人，你对于他们的这个感想，有什么方面的感想？你认为他们的需求或者是看重的又是什么？那阿关你可以讲，阿关你要 unmute 一下，你的那个声音没有打开。要打开一下。对了。
听得到吗？OK，
对
不起，其实我在这区已经是从刚刚就搬来这一边，而且我从小到现在这个大拍89，其实这个巴萨是我的第二个家，因为其实我也是被逼不得已，所以才会在那个地方生活，所以我还是要接受，因为大家都为了生活，而且我在那边有遇到很多这些朋友，一些老人家，有些老人家就是说，因为他们单独一个人孤独，所以有时候就在我们的前面坐喝聊聊天，而且也是会可以成为朋友有时候我们可以帮到他，给他一点意见这是这种情况之下，有时候我们也会找一些事情给他打发，就是说帮忙我做一点简单的，让他在那边做跟朋友打个交道就是这样的情况。而且在巴塞的地方也是属于一个联络站，因为每个都可以说互不相识，也变成为好朋友嘛，对不对？对我的看法是说，有一个地方给老人结合在一起的话大家都有无所事谈，有时候他们都会问起一些东西，我们也会向他们解释给他听，或者我们不懂，我们也会向他说，向他请教一些热灵东西这种情况之下，而且我很庆幸，我很喜欢这一区，因为这一区给我们带来很方便所以我的想法其实说，不管是哪一个地方，大家都一起的互相照顾，而且生活的大家都是一样的所以我的看法就是说，不管是他年轻也好，老人家，其实他问起东西，我们可以给他指点，或者是不懂的会叫他去请教一些联络所的东西，就是这样的东西情况而且我曾经也遇过到一个老人家，他有一点带有自闭症，后来找不到，忽然间在我们组织这种中年会的时候，我们有请那些老人家来吃 buffet， 无形中忽然间给一个安迪书生看到，好像是这个人，忽然间这个人给好像是就是所谓的失踪这个人，这样忽然间我们就讲说，他们就快点联络对方，叫他说来，就是你找的要的这个人。所以说，一个社区有这种聚会，有这种社团，我们就有办法照顾到这些老人家，有时候给他们一个方便，就是这样的情况。
谢谢你啊。
我觉得也不客气，对对。
是不好意思，我刚才不好意思把你打断了。不过我觉得如果 我想我可以，如果稍微做一个简单的总结来讲的话呢，其实阿关的意思就是，其实我们的社区里面有很多的长辈们，他们在这里生活了很久，他们基本上是从年轻一直过到老，他们的很多的记忆。点滴其实都在这里，他们的朋友、他们的社交圈、他们的支持网都在这里。所以其实除了衣食住行哦那些基本的需求，他们在精神上的需求其实也是非常需要的。那我们其实也要照顾到这一点，所以对于我们的长辈的这个照顾呢，也必须也要注重他们精神上的需求，这样子呢，他们才会更健康、更快乐、更有意义。对吧？那对这个让我就简单的翻译一下让我们线上的朋友明白。So Aguan was sharing about his own experience and his own observations. He used to live in a kampong and then he had to resettle in MacPherson here. And because of, you know, the hard work that he has to put in at the coffee stall, actually 89 Circuit Road is like his second home. And so he has seen many elders who have come and made friends, drink coffee, just interacted. And so he was sharing that sometimes it's really about giving them that additional platform for them to hang around so that they can connect with their neighbors and friends, and also that they don't feel so lonely and where they can actually seek help. So because at the market is like a community focal point, and when they come together, even if they are not related by blood, but because over time they build up that relationship, that trust, they actually get help from each other. So sometimes some of them, our seniors, may have questions or queries or not or don't know where to look for help. Someone like Aguan will be able to provide that information to help them and direct them. And because we are an aging estate with mature, it's a mature estate with an aging population, we do have a few seniors who have dementia. And he was also recounting there was one incident or one time when an elderly with dementia were gone missing. And we were all looking for the elderly, but couldn't quite find him until one day at this, the annual, the 7th month, the lunar 7th month, and they were having the usual meal gathering, like a buffet. And then suddenly one of one of the aunties in the community, I think Auntie Susan, actually spotted the man and said, "Hey, this guy looks familiar." And then immediately triggered the whole network and then contacted the family and found that it was indeed the uncle, the elderly with dementia, who had gone missing. So we found them and returned him safely back to the family. So I suppose the underlying point here is that to help our seniors age in place, to help take care of them, actually takes many different levels of support. And in this case, community has a very strong role to play in terms of the emotional, psychological well-being of our seniors. So this is my English translation. 阿关准确吗？可以吗？
对，very good，very good，对，超强的，还是你的聪明，very good。
好，那 next I will let Uncle. Thank you. Next, I'll let Uncle Chow also share a little bit. So, Uncle Chow, I've always been very amazed by your computer skills. At 81 years old, you just really just keep learning. So, maybe Uncle Chow, maybe you can share with us, because you are the most senior here in this chat room. What do you think is something that excites you in your senior years? What do you think are important to seniors like yourself? Maybe you can share a little bit more so that we can have a glimpse and insight into this.
首先我要先说，我们这些建国一代的人，我们建国一代经过日本统治时期，也经过英国殖民地时代，新马或地新马分家，同时呢，然后建立一个国家。我们的国家辛辛苦苦建立到起来，还有我们是这个亚洲四小龙之首， 同时我们引入这个发达国家了。这一点呢，完全是可以说归于我国的这个财政政策，就是刚才提到的这个财政的政策是很好。还有最重要一点，就是我们的公积金制度。我们公积金制度不但是世界最好的养老金方法，同时也是保障我国人民七者与其物能够成功，这完全是因为有公积金。如果没有公积金，我相信我们没有办法达到88%的人通通拥有这个政府职位，因为你没有公积金，我们很难取出这笔钱。还有公积金的利息也高，还有政府帮助我们放进里面，所以公积金制度使新加坡人民基者有其物成功，同时这个公积金制度使我们人人有保险。我们可以从这个分析，所以我们的公积金制度呢，使大家呢放心，很少国家能够提到全民保险。同时，我们也不必做拿现金出来，如果有也是不会很高，大家都负担得起，负担得起。除了医药、住院用品，还有公积金可以给我们的儿女们读大学啦，还有各方面的可以拿出来用。所以各方面都要做到，所以我认为呢，我国的成功除了财政政策，还有最重要就是公积金制度。公积金制度之外，还有也可以给我们老人有老本，老了，如罗毅所说的，他每个月也可以领取一笔钱来用。那么如果你很健康，你想这个很无聊，那可以去做part time就这样了。但是你并不是说我没有钱了，我只是花时间。那么有了老本，还有最重要一点，我要跟乐理人士说一个，我们要有健康的身体。我们有了老本，可是如果没有健康身体，你没有用啊。你要怎样呢？还有拖累国家。要有健康身体，年轻一代必须现在开始注意你们的身体，好好锻炼身体，这样老了呢才会有健康的身体。有了老本，有了健康身体，必然能够过一个幸福快乐的晚年。所以我认为呢，大家都认为新加坡的这个是可以说大家都很高兴，很好的。
谢谢你，昂哥张。谢谢你。其实昂哥张，你最后一句哦，我觉得特别有意义，就是身体健康。其实我每次在和居民尤其是长辈在交流的时候呢，我都会祝他们身体健康，因为呢，健康其实是真的非常重要。你有健康的话呢，你有那个体魄，要做什么都可以，追求梦想也可以，什么都有办法，有希望做得到。那如果没有健康的话呢？就算是把山珍海味放到眼前，也不一定是能够完完全全的去享受。所以其实健康的确是非常重要，尤其是在晚年，如果要过得多姿多彩，那个健康是肯定是第一重要的。让我做英语的一个简单翻译哦，所以请包含一下。So please bear with me just a quick English translation. So actually what Uncle Charles had shared was that by the way, all these are not scripted, okay? So just so that you all know. Basically, what Uncle Chow had shared is that he feels that the Singapore government or Singapore generally has done well. We were known as one of the Asia Four Dragons. And to progress to where we are here today, from the independence, the earlier years when we had almost nothing, it really has been quite a journey for all of us. And there are two things that he especially highlighted. One was the fiscal system, the discipline that we have, how we manage the budget, the whole expenses and the budget well, so that we are not only efficient but also effective. And then secondly, he also made mention about the CPF system. And the CPF, I think the three points about the CPF that he made was this. He felt that the CPF has been one of the biggest safety pillar. First of all, it helped Singaporeans like some of our seniors here to be able to own a home for themselves, a house, a home for themselves is a very key asset to many Singaporeans in Singapore. That's why he mentioned close to 80% of Singaporeans have their own homes. That means home ownership. Um, and then second, because of CPF savings, Singaporeans have insurance coverage. Because for example, now we have universal healthcare. This part I'm adding on a little bit. For example, I think what he meant is like the MediShield Life, which is the universal healthcare coverage, and I think some others may also use it to pay for even the housing, as well as the integrated premium integrated plan type of insurance schemes. But basically, insurance, an added layer of security. And third, he also mentioned about the next generation, because in some instances, when maybe perhaps financially it has been a little bit tougher, parents can actually draw from their CPF to help finance their children to finish their education in school. And this, to him, is an important point, because it's also about helping Singaporeans to support their next generation. So I think these are the 3 points about CPF, and of course earlier he talked about fiscal, and so he made special mention about that. And last but not least, he also added the importance of keeping good health for seniors, and that good health has to be, you have to cultivate that from young. And the reason why it is important is because when you are healthy, there are so many things that you can enjoy and do. And even especially in your golden years or your silver years, post-retirement, you can still lead a very meaningful life because you have the stamina and the energy to do so. So that is basically what Uncle Chow had conveyed in English. I hope I'm accurate. 我刚才讲的还准确吗？还准吗？OK， 好，希望不要讲错。是所以在这边呢，其实我想我们大家都听到大家的sorry，should I do English? Bilingual until I also forgot to switch channel. Yeah, so basically, I think we have heard from our seniors what they think are important to them, close to their hearts, some of their thoughts, and I actually have a few conclusions that I could draw from this. But before that, I'm just wondering whether anyone has anything that you want to add. Then and then we can add that. Oh, okay, Mr. Lim first. Mr. Lim, then Uncle Chow, okay?
Right. I just want to, tie a bridge between what Mr. Teo and Mr. Chow mentioned about this place being convenient and the issue of health. Well, I live just across the road from the polyclinic. Invariably, although we try to keep a healthy lifestyle, you will fall sick once in a while. And the overhead bridge linking the 2 bus stops just outside the polyclinic. So I find that this place is so convenient, and people who visit the doctors at polyclinic, if they come one way, they have to go back home the other way, right? And so the elevators that is being installed is so convenient. And I understand that we are also upgrading and adding that on to the overhead bridge near the NTUC. That was going to bring a lot of convenience for people. My daughter lives across the road, across the PIE. So she's on the other side. And with 2 young children on a pram, those elevators is going to be a great help. The ramp helps, but nothing like elevator that is more convenient to use. So I find that, this area, when my wife and I moved in here in 2003, I said that, wow, a lot of old folks here, which means I can grow old here. and finally, with what Mr. Teo said about, helping a demented man. Hey, man, if I get to that age and I get demented, this is the community that I want to be in. So helpful, so convenient.
Oh, it's so wonderful to hear that, Mr. Lim. Oh, my, this means so much to me because
Thank
um,
you.
the two overhead bridges that you mentioned, the one at the polyclinic as well as the near NTUC one. I remember we actually appealed for a very long time to LTA to ask for the installation
Yeah,
of this.
that's opaque to us. I don't know what is going on behind the scenes.
Yeah,
Opaque to
so
me.
yeah, so actually, because you mentioned this, I'm so glad that our effort paid off because it helps our seniors move around and even to help families like yours get connected, to remain connected so that, for example, your children, your daughter can come and visit you. And if you need to go to the clinic, to the polyclinic, or even just the hawker center over there, it makes it easier. And the last part, when you say that, of course, I wish you good health and everything. But the fact that we have a network, we have people who care. We have many people who care, and this makes that community strong. I would like to say this. This is repeating this point. I think what sets apart between a place and a home is really the people, the network, all these things come together. And that, I mean, between a new place without a soul versus a rejuvenated place with a huge big soul, I feel that, from what I hear is that our seniors really cherish or value the people, the network, the support that we have in the community. Yeah. So,
So I want to salute Mr. Teo and your group of very good friends over there. Thank you. 谢谢你。
yeah，谢谢你们，谢谢你们。
我
Yeah，
我要讲一些话，可以吗？
是是是，
我是说，我坦白讲一句话，我要现在在我这边，我要跟大家说，我要多谢我老爸，他没有坚持说要住这一区的话，我根本真的是他没有这样的方便，而且到目前为止这一区真的是交通发达，要上 West 要上 East 都很方便，而且我的小郭的大儿子也住在这一区，所以我永远是不会再移动的了，就永远在这一区生存了。
欢迎你们，欢迎你们！
阿光，你说对不对？
哇，太棒了，太棒了！这就是
我要多谢我的老爸的，没有，以前我们一天就是要去点便利要什么，后来我们知道为了方便，真的是很好的这个社区。我们讲一句话，
我也要谢谢你爸爸，我也要谢谢你爸爸。是阿高超刚才好像说要举手，是要说一些话吧？
我要讲关于学新科技，这告诉我要跟所有的乐龄人士说，要学这新科技，第一点不要怕，第二要常用，要常常练习。我们这区很好，有很多贫穷人士，他们可以去上那个学 smartphone 啊，他们学好了之后，给他一个免费的 smartphone， 给了之后呢，他们有时拿了，他们没有常用，他们只是用来打电话，所以我鼓励他们，你们其他的把什么 app 放进去，那么你失败了，不要紧再做，你做久了你就熟了，熟能生巧。我学这些电脑这些高科技，我也是常常做了失败，做不成我再做。好像最近学那个英文，他们说，哎，我学了我也会英文了。所以这些东西你要不怕失败，敢学。还有一点就是要常常复习，常常做，把那个 app 常常弄来弄去，变成低头就一样了。不过在家里低头就最好了，不要出去外面低头就。我的是这样。
是，谢谢你，安哥超。的确，其实这个讲到学习哦，是非常重要。我们这个终身学习，那天天有新的一些尝试一些新鲜的东西，那掌握好了之后，那个自信还有那个感觉其实是很不错的，因为觉得还行的，这样子每天呢就有期待的理由哦，每天都有新篇章。我说我稍微快的就是翻译一下啊，那给线上大家也明白。So just a quick translation. So just now actually what Aguan then talk about what Uncle Chow shared. So Aguan was saying that he would like to thank his father for insisting that they shift to MacPherson because they would have in those early days preferred to go to newer estates such as Tampines. But of course, now looking back, because MacPherson is a very well connected place, especially with transport and a few other facilities and infrastructure, so it has made living a lot more convenient, a lot more accessible and comfortable as well. And so to our our senior guests here, they enjoy being in this community, not just an environment or a place, but a home and a community. And then for Uncle Chow, he was also sharing that it's important that continue to learn, it's lifelong learning. And he was drawing on his own experience about how he learned about digital skills and how he eventually managed to get onto Zoom. And that it's important that you try and also practice, because with more practice you actually get better with it. And I was also commenting that, yeah, every day when you have something new to look forward to, trying something new, yes, at the beginning maybe a bit tough, but after you master it, actually that sense of exhilaration, that sense of that the ability to be able to do something, to still do something, even in older age, can be very good. And therefore, overall, I think in terms of well-being, actually, this one I'm adding here already. I think it's very encouraging, because it means that every day there is something to look forward to, very meaningful. Yeah. So I hear everyone saying this, and I actually have one more point that just now earlier on I said I would like to delve in a little bit more, because Mr. Lim, you mentioned about the job support scheme that was introduced. Actually, it's not just this year. Job support scheme is unique to this year because of the COVID-19 budget. The point that I was thinking about is about how we introduce an incentive scheme that encourages the employers to retain Singaporean workers. And in this case, actually, that would include older workers, because conventionally, if we think about it, the if an employer has to choose or can get to choose, conventionally we would think that maybe they will rather keep a younger worker than an older worker. And but the fact is that there had been schemes even before this year, where it's jobs credit to encourage special credit to encourage employers to hire or retain older workers. And in this case, even during this COVID-19 crisis, JSS, actually maybe I'll ask Mr. Lim to share your thoughts, whether you think this is something that has helped to even retain older workers, so that they can continue to be meaningfully deployed or engaged in their older ages.
Oh, definitely, definitely. I hope that companies would share the same values as the organization that I work for, where we value everyone. But like what you say, Ms. Tin, by and large, there is this thinking that we will retain the younger ones and try to exit the older ones. Now, I am turning 60 this year, and I feel I still have a lot to contribute, or in another sense, I have a whole lot more to contribute now after being blessed with a lot of experiences and exposure locally and overseas over the years, both the joyful and the painful moments, the victories as well as the pitfalls that I fell into. I have a lot that I want to contribute to the younger ones, so that they don't have to fall into the same pits that I fell into, and also through them to others. So it's not just directly them, but through them to others. And rather than a handout directly, which I would appreciate, to a worker. But the roundabout way of doing it, which is to empower the companies to think twice about, so I let him go. Oh no, I want to take advantage of that. So to empower them to say that, okay, I'm going to retain them, and then allow these who are nearing retirement age, or those who are there already but feel that they still have a lot more to give. They are healthy and they have lots of experience and exposure to share. So definitely.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Lim. I'm glad to hear that. Just to add on, actually, I think what the incentives are able to achieve is that it if if companies during this period of time have to make a painful decision to lose workers, uh, that they will actually not sacrifice Singaporean workers. Uh, of course, this whole scheme is really to encourage companies as a top priority strategy is to retain your manpower. And that especially what this means is actually Singaporean core. And so this is to me what it is achieving. And also because of the extra credit, actually it's not just JSS, even for this year's budget, there was the credit jobs credit as well that is meant for helping or encouraging companies to retain older workers. That is a separate one, but I think we were just more focused on JSS. Actually, that portion is also in the first budget this year, and so it's about helping companies keep older workers, but also helping older workers who want to continue to be meaningfully engaged and employed, to have that chance to stay on in that job. Yeah. So I am mindful of the time, but I want to say that I had a great time having this conversation with all of you. If anything, through your sharing, whether it's English or Huayu, there are a few points that I can draw from this. One is that, and this is a very important point to me, is that even as we age, we should take a more optimistic and a more active, proactive approach to aging. In Chinese, I would say that we should not think about 老不中用. We should be 老有所为, which means that we should not just just strike someone off and say that you are old already, you no longer have value, why don't you step aside? We should not have that kind of attitude. In fact, even as one ages, there are still things that this person can contribute to, can value add to, or can still do and do well in. And therefore, I think we should have that, create those opportunities, the right environment to empower our seniors to age with grace, with dignity, and definitely to age with meaning. And so this is something that I think is most important. And the next thing that I thought I can, that I hear from what you have shared is that, when we look after our seniors, especially post-retirement, when they no longer have an active work income in that sense for quite a number of them, is how could we ensure that when that day comes, they have enough still in their nest to support them in terms of their basic needs. Their makan, their home, their shelter, even their healthcare. And so of course, through various government schemes such as the CPF, which was mentioned quite several times in this chat, or even I think I heard 建国一代, right? So that means there's Pioneer Generation Package and also the Merdeka Generation Package and various other subsidies and welfare schemes to support our seniors. And for those who are working, and if it's not a very high income, there's workfare as well, of course, but to support them. And I think in this year's budget, there's also the solidarity payment. This is direct cash. Indirect support is aside, not mentioned here, but the direct cash, actually seniors also get additional $100 on top of what a normal adult Singaporean may get. And so this is at the national level. But I think hearing from what Aguan and even Uncle Chow have shared with us is that actually at the community level, at the people, individual level, there are also many things that we can do to help our seniors age with dignity, with grace, and with meaning. And because of with our strong community network, that people, that 人情味 that we have, we make sure that even in the community, if they get lost or if they need extra information, if they need some direction, if they need someone to just show love and care for them, or just lend them a listening ear, the community comes in to support them. And I should just here 打一点广告 also that actually for us in the community, we also try our best to raise our own resources to support our seniors. We have MacPherson Care Fund, for example, to help our seniors defray part of their healthcare costs. We also have grocery vouchers. We have welfare day in which we want to support our seniors in some of their daily necessities. We have free meals, free daily meals for seniors who need the additional meal support. We of course also have a lot of courses, digital courses, the one that Uncle Chow mentioned, so that our seniors can learn something new, can learn to make use of technology to enrich their daily living, enrich in terms of the emotional well-being. And this it's really also helping our seniors to be digitally ready, future ready. It is a process. It is a process, and it is something that we have to just keep on nudging and encourage and support. To me, I think we want to see technology as an enabler, not something that is inadvertently create a new gap in our society or our community, not something that will in the end cause people to be more distanced. But we want to make use of technology to help connect our seniors to the community better, so that they can remain connected even in tough times, and so that they can get the information they need, get the support that they need. So I think that is the key, some of the key points that I draw. Now I know that there are some questions that have been raised by our online friends. Maybe we can answer a couple of them. I may need someone to help me find the questions, and then either I will try to answer them, or our seniors here can also help me address them. How about that? 可以吗？因为网络上有一些支持者，还有一些观众哦，他们可能也有一些问题，可能想要问你，可能也是问我。那我们可以就是看有什么样的问题，我们尽量的回答一些些啦哈。我也是有点注意到时间，所以呢，我们就来一点点好不好哈？Actually, just now I saw someone who asked about lift upgrade at Block 56. I think that's 56 Pippin Road. So generally for housing estates, those that originally, there was this older generation of flats where the lift don't stop at every floor. Yeah. So for those flats, HDB actually offers lift upgrading so that they can better support our seniors living in the estate, because the seniors, if you want them to climb the stairs, can be a bit challenging. So lift upgrading at least enables that the lift can stop at every floor, so that our seniors can go out or come back with greater ease. So as of now, across MacPherson, most of our flats that need lift upgrade would have been upgraded. In terms of replacement, there's a cyclical replacement. And the cyclical replacement is that I think that's about every 25 years. That's based on the, I asked this in Parliament before. I raised this question in Parliament before about replacement, and I was told that on average it's about 25 years. So some of the flats, I think including some in Geylang East actually, would have had the lift replaced. And there's a certain schedule to that, and we're watching this very closely. For 56, I need to double check, but I mean, MJ, you can actually ask me separately. But I remember that it is considered relatively newer. But let me check on this one. Yeah. So any other question? Maybe can I trouble someone to bring it up?
应该是没有。
应该没有哈。
你在这期里面做到很多东西了，我们都已经很算是始祖了。
谢。
就好像所以这里的给老人家上下车，上回我在提议两届以前都有提议过，现在已经做出来了，都不错啊。所以说下大雨他们上下车都给老人家很方便啊，这一点是很好。因为我们是旧物的社区，所以那时候是没有，后来才再加进去的话，这个是给大家很多的方便。就是这一点。
谢谢你啊。那其实刚才有看到另外一个 comment 吧，好像被不小心 there's a question here. Been researching on homes. Okay. Okay, flat maintenance. So for in MacPherson, we have the more earlier batches of flats here. So I think you know the Zap Lao, Zap Pilau, and then across both sides. So for us in MacPherson, we have been actively appealing for upgrading for our flats. So actually, quite a number. I think most of the circuit road flats have undergone main upgrading program. So that would be quite a number of years ago. And the main upgrading would include, for example, the adding of a room to enlarge the space of the flat. Now, what this means is that if you have been living in MacPherson or you bought it at the beginning, back then the value may be lower at that point in time because it was new, it just moved in. And then, but with the Okay, and then with the upgrading, with the additional of that room, it enlarges the space. And so the market valuation of that flat actually increases. And I know this because recently we had the exercise over at MacPherson Lane side, and that was what we have observed. That with the upgrading, when you add that room, the overall space actually increases, and so the house value also enhances. Now, on top of that, we also, I think I can say that HDB has also been introducing home improvement programs. Home improvement programs look at the interior of the flats, so whether, it's your spalling concrete, upgrading of your toilets, some of the, for example, the hangers, as well as the main door, etc. So it actually looks into upgrading that, including also electricity loading, for example. And so these have been ongoing. We have already, introduced or managed to appeal for it and introduce it to a number of the precincts. And for example, I think part of Geylang East is still ongoing, and we have a few upcoming as well. So we are looking at how we can, enhance the overall condition and the environment of our flats here. On top of that, we also look at the outside of the flats, the overall environment. So neighborhood renewal program, we have a few ongoing, and that will, be like a facelift to rejuvenate our community, to make it a lot more vibrant, more safer, and also more accessible for our residents. Of course, for town council, they will have the cyclical R&R, repair and redecoration. And so that's every 7 years. They will do, not just repainting, but also repairing and maintaining parts that may have wear and tear over time, and also making sure that some of the supplies, the structure, all of this are of good integrity. So these are ongoing, and just maybe to quickly answer that. So actually, flat maintenance, overall community estate and maintenance is ongoing, and we'll continue to push for this so that our residents can, live in a vibrant, safe, and accessible home. And as I mentioned earlier, even as we push for the hardware improvement and enhancement, even from point to point, even like covered walkways, for example, all these are a constant pursuit and a constant pursuit to improve, even walkways, for example. But in the end, it's also about the people, the ties that we share, that network that we have to support one another, and that differentiates between a place and a home. So we are working on both fronts to serve our residents in MacPherson. Yeah. Okay, I think this will be the one of the last questions, right? Okay, so I see here, father was fit. Okay, contract no longer renewed. I see. So Clarence, thank you for sharing this feedback. I think this is something that we definitely don't want to see. What we want to see is that in Singapore, we will have an environment where we embrace all ages, that we do not have age discrimination. I actually spoke up in Parliament before because as I went around in MacPherson, I have met seniors who have shared with me how they still feel that they're fit to work, they have much to contribute. And of course, there are some others who have to work because they need the extra income. Regardless of the reason, I think for seniors who wish to work, we should be able to support them, and we must continue to offer them the opportunities to do so. I had spoken up in Parliament on this. I think on top of redesigning of the environment to make it more elderly friendly, or redesigning of job scope, it's also about how do we call out companies or employers who exhibit discriminatory practices. How do we go after some of them who may not have very good reasons to discriminate our workers. I think this is something that, because of age, and I think this is something that we must continue to look at. Of course, government also has incentives to try to encourage companies to be more embracing, to prioritize the hiring of more mature workers. I think this one we already explored it earlier, but it is also important for us to call out some of these unfair practices, and that so that we make sure that for those who would like to work, can still value add, have a fair opportunity, a fair chance at going for that job, not just because of age, which is out of our control, but that they have a fair chance. So this is something that I believe in, and I have been speaking up in Parliament on this. I actually spoke up on this a few times. Of course, at the end of the day, we hope that this is not just a single government effort. It has to be a whole of society. Because if we believe in an inclusive and caring society, it has to come from everyone, every sector, every level. A society cannot be just one single actor or one single organization. It has to be everyone. And therefore, when we talk about caring and inclusive society, it requires all of us to walk our talk. The government needs to do what it has to do to set the frameworks, to put in the resources, to give that push. But it also takes all of us to do something to make it work, to realize it. And so I think in this case, it is truly one of the examples, where we will need everyone, especially for companies also, those who can, to play a bigger social role in this. Yeah, so I actually can have more to share, but I really do think that this is important. And even when we talk about caring, as we've mentioned earlier, it is also important that when we talk about caring for our seniors, that even within the community, all of us just looking out for our elderly neighbor, for example, just sometimes when we walk across, just knock on the door and just making sure that they're all right. I think this is something that we can do, and this is also one way to show that we care. So I think we have one more. Okay. Will there be a Facebook Live on issues pertaining to youth in MacPherson? Yong Chuan. Yes, we do. Tomorrow we will have a session talking about families and young people and youth. So please do stay tuned tomorrow, same time, same format. We will come on live to talk about issues that concern young people as well as families in MacPherson. So thank you, Yong Chuan, for asking that question. So okay, I'm mindful of the time. We've actually overrun. We originally wanted to do 1 hour, but I think we have a good exchange, interaction as well. So I would like to take this opportunity to thank all our seniors. Thank you, Mr. Lim. Thank you, Auntie Dolly. Thank you, Aguan. Thank you, Uncle Chow. Thank you for sharing with us.
Thank you.
谢谢你们哦. And to everyone who is online watching us, I hope that
everyone.
yeah. So I hope that you find this session something that is interesting and engaging. I thought it would be nice to have our residents to come and share their thoughts with all of us. And to me, really, at the end of the day, I think it's important for me to continue to listen and understand my residents. It's a continuous effort. It's not just, of course, in this chat group, but beyond this chat group, it's a whole community out there. And I have been going around engaging residents, and I will continue to do so. Because by listening to you, understanding what you are facing, knowing your story, I bring your voice into the parliament. And because based on real life instances, your real stories, when we engage in debates and policy formulation, it is grounded based on real life instances, real life stories. And I think this is important. This is important because then I will know what really is on top of your mind. This is just one of my effort, but of course this engagement goes beyond this chat room itself. So to me, this is important, and I'll continue to do so. And of course, to all of you online, Thank you for sharing your earnest thoughts with me. Thank you for giving me your feedback. And of course, once again, thank you to
Thank
all our
you.
students.
Thank
Wishing
you,
you
Iris.
good
Thank you.
health and
Yeah.
Thank
time ahead.
you. See you again.
Tomorrow.
Bye.
Take care. Take care.
Good health, and to all our people, our friends online. See you tomorrow at 7 p.m. Bye
Thank you.
bye.
She listened to my stories and she can feel what I'm going through, the pain, everything. Yeah, and she helped me a lot since my children was young.
他帮我很多，奶粉也是他帮我申请，每个3个月都拿到。连我的孙他的 pamper 没有了，他也是帮我叫人家 sponsor。
He help our work a lot lah. Here, even the Chinese also not Chinese, Indian, Malay also a lot. He help also.
So I did came to our MP Tilpeling. She was working very hard for me. She did right for whatever is my issue. Some of the debts which I was in, financially I was in many debts. Then she even have a write out for me from the financial assistant, which for a few months, which was very helpful for me.
那次我失业，我去找他，跟他讲情形怎么样。后来他帮我的忙，写信给那个老板。不久他们回信叫我去见我的 supervisor， 马上安排我1个礼拜2天。所以我找到工作了。
蚊子那个时候就是因为我侄媳本身我女儿也有中这个dengue，就是她真的很看重，就是会派人到每个家里的去帮他们检查，说哪里有积水啊什么。有些人对这种他们认为说，这个小事不会有那种不应该不是问题，可是他真的帮了我们很多，教我们很多常识，就是怎么去prevent这个蚊子这个dengue的那个什么。
杨志兴他们有了，他每天有给我们饭啊什么咯。因为我这个杨志兴我这边拿饭拿的差不多6、7年了哦。这个疫情的时候啊，佩玲也去那边很多次了，也是有问候我们他很关心我们这边的老人家的这个疫情的事情，怕他们叫我们大家要注意啊，什么好像最好不要出门这样啦，
一个时期我没有办法，我有生病，他也帮我写信去医院申请那些医药费的东西。
真的有事情你找他，他真的跟你做，不是说只是一个预言而已。我经验过2次了，他真正有跟我做那个事情啊，效果不错。
他们对我们这边的老人家很关心，我们老人家每个对他印象很好，他讲话也是很斯文。
Even my second daughter, since when she was young, I will bring her to the MP session. And every time she has a bursary award, she will always go to Miss Tin Peling and hug her. She said, I saw the auntie, Miss Tin Peling, because she knows that she have helped us a lot in many ways.
Will you let me join your story of future now and then? In the colors in the world we love and care. Rain and storms will make us stronger.
佩玲这样就好，加油了！我们每个人都会关心她。
She will be an MP in this area forever.
佩玲，加油！我们支持你，你真的很棒。
Hand in hand. And storms will make us stronger, fighting for what we believe. Make this journey together, hand in hand. Will you let me join your story of future now and then? in the colors in the world we love and care. Rain and storms will make us stronger, fighting for what we believe. Make this journey together, hand in hand. Will you let me join your story of future now and then? In the colors in the world we love and care. Rain and storms will make us stronger, fighting for what we believe. Make this journey together, hand in hand.